Welcome Libra to your in-depth weekly forecast for week commencing the 17th of June for the Ascendant, the Sun or the Moon. On the screen now I'm showing the event chart for you right at the start of the week. The big takeout is the fact that the Moon is in your sign. You can be a people pleaser, even if that's not so much your focus. You're certainly very attuned to how things appear to others. What the Moon in your own sign does is give you a bit more urgency to connect with what you need instinctively for yourself. But the Moon also forges an amazing link to the Sun. The Sun in Gemini, House 9, very exciting, adventurous. And all through June so far, you've been pushing boundaries. You've been exploring, perhaps trying to reach new people, experimenting. Perhaps you've travelled. It may be physically, maybe in your mind. You've certainly become much more conscious of different philosophies and knowledge. That's created a lot of excitement. So this link to the Moon and the Sun just gives you a sense of being in touch with all this drama. Absolutely lovely. But let's revisit the very start of last week. Did you, as the previous week came to a close, have a big connection with someone in a romantic, or should I say raw, sexual attraction way? Wouldn't be a complete surprise. Or was there a clash of wills with someone you're more closely involved with, perhaps around money? Perhaps you haven't felt as recognised or acknowledged as you should do. The ninth house, which includes your ruler Venus, which you can see from the chart, is right at the top of the chart on the 10th house cusp, has been making you much more conscious of your need for fairness. If you are experiencing a lack of fairness, that clash between Mars in your 8th house of long-term money, so that's where you want to feel really validated, particularly at work. If that hasn't been coming back to you, that may have left you feeling quite restive. Now, as we come into this new week, Mars is forging a very positive link with Jupiter. So keep going. Keep trying to push your interest. Keep trying to cultivate contacts. Keep trying to reach the people who will see your situation with greater clarity. But you will need to use diplomacy. But guess what? That's your ace card. And because Venus is the most dominant planet in this week's particular reading and is your ruler, using that graciousness that's part and parcel of you and crafting your language carefully with Mercury's help can really see a breakthrough. Just be aware they're both conflicted by the dreamy influence of Neptune. Neptune for you is in house 6. Don't feel guilty if you're standing up for your rights. Someone could try to guilt you out with Saturn and Neptune in house 6. Well, that's the way it is. That's just the way we do things. Push back if that doesn't feel right, but push back with your charm, because that will spring open the door of opportunity much more effectively. Because although Mercury and Venus reach an exact alliance in Gemini on Monday, they then later in the day move into Cancer, which for you, the 10th house, is how you connect to the wider world. It's goals, ambitions, success. And success could well be coming your way, Libra, particularly if you've really been putting in the legwork over the last few weeks. And once Venus and Mercury move into Cancer, let's just think about the archetype of Cancer. It's caring, it's nurturing, yes, but it's also a cardinal sign like you. Cardinal means leadership, it means authority, but most of all it means action. Just because Venus is in the mix doesn't mean to say you can't take action. For example, if you're seeing someone and you're really keen on each other and you want to take it to that next level of commitment, the 10th house is the place that you can do it. So your conversations could be about that. If you're more focused on trying to get yourself a new job or get your boss to give you greater recognition for how hard you're working, again, it can be your use of language and charm, which are just as important as your talent. But what Neptune can do is just distort things a little bit. So it's very important to choose language with care, but that's something that you have a gift for. Now, the other takeout at the start of this week essentially is that Pluto influence, because Pluto is also in a quincunx with Mercury and Venus as they move into Cancer. What this means is the 5th house is where you want to be free-spirited and really radiate your individuality. The 10th house may be where you have to just bend a little bit into what someone else expects from you. So that means that you may have to tailor your output in order to get the improvement in your situation. So if you're a natural bohemian, this week could be more challenging. If you're someone who wants to make it all the way to the boardroom and you're prepared to, in some ways, be a bit more flexible about your personal talents and, conform rather more to the construct that's being offered, that's where you can make significant progress. And that's going to be underlined by the sun travelling into the sign of Cancer on Thursday. So for you, the sun goes right to the top of your chart, there for 30 days. This is your chance to really light people up, animate your talents, raise your profile. You can achieve more recognition if you believe in yourself, because Pluto is there. The 5th, 10th house energy is not very integrated. But if you can just be a little bit flexing, you've got a great chance. But that brings us to the full moon of Saturday, because just as you're making this big push, it could be that someone at home needs your support. Maybe it's an elderly relative, maybe it's your kids, maybe there's some domestic issues that need to be cleared up, just at a time when you're wanting to really focus on success. And that's the amazing thing about astrology. We very rarely get everything going completely in the direction we want. There's always some kind of headwind. How do you deal with this headwind? Well, maybe in this classic work-life balance scenario, just be aware that there is going to be a need to flex. But because Neptune also T-squares up this particular full moon, again, it's down to the information that's coming back. And because it's so late in the sign of Pisces, for you, it's really almost on your 7th house cusp. So around partnerships, whether it's a domestic partner, family partnership, professional partnership, you need to be sensitive to the people that you're connecting with, and they'll probably give you the support that you require, but they may need some of your support. So you could be a little bit deflected from your worldly aims at the end of this week and for the following 2 weeks, but equally it could be that you can really go for it, but then realise you do need the support of those significant others. It's been a great pleasure being with you, Libra. Have a wonderful week. And if you've yet to subscribe, please do so now.